Hey everybody, welcome back to Ask TTS Today. On today's episode, we're going to keep it pretty light and we're going to discuss reporting. A lot of questions we get on how to provide certain information from the system. And reporting is a very powerful tool and it can be used in a lot of areas that you wouldn't even expect. So I'm going to go over our reports tab and show you each report in detail so you get an idea of what information they provide and what I've used them for to help people that call up. So head over to the reports tab. See you there. Okay, so you may have noticed we do have two reports tabs, a reports and additional reports. Today I'm going to go over the reports tab and show you each report in detail. And we'll go over the different aspects and what options you have for each report. So let's start with products. And basically there's two sections, we'll call it in this one, the products, customers, vendors, and vendor customer cross-reference will basically just give you a listing of those particular items. When you get into inventory and orders, we do have sub-reports within that become very useful in finding information about back orders, for instance, products on orders, different releases, things like that, stock. So let's go through the basic ones first. So let's do products. And here are our options. By the way, in all these reports, if you just click Create Report, in this case, Create Products Report, you'll get the entire product list, all vendors, all products. And then you can filter them. We do add filter buttons into these reports. So let's click on that just to get an idea of what comes out of that report. Okay, as you see, it gave us all our manufacturers, so I could filter by those manufacturers. If I want to just see one, turn them all off, and then choose the one I want. And then it filters by that. So vendor product group that's listed. This is basically all the detailed information for each product. Descriptions. You do have your stock as well. So you have your on hand, you're committed, you're available. Pricing, if you have it, all 10 column pricing that's listed in there. Another way to use this report, other than just looking at the stock, for instance, if you need to make changes to your product file, you can generate a report like this for a specific vendor and then copy this data into the product import template. So this is all the required information that you need for your product imports, and any changes you make will be updated using that report. So not just to look at your products, it will help you in building or updating products that may need changing in the system. So that is the products report. So you do have the ability to choose a vendor, a product group, a service, warehouse. If you have multiple warehouses, you can choose a select warehouse. And this one's kind of important. Order entry active. You have the ability to actually disable a product from being allowed to be entered into an order. So you may not know what those products are. So you can actually go into and say yes. And then this will give you a list of only the products that have order entry active, or no if you want to see the ones that you've disabled, and then you can go back and enable them. So these options do help. You also, again, as I showed earlier, you have the ability to filter out on the same options if you only need to see certain ones. Next report will be customers, and you can choose just create customer report. I'll give you a list of all of them, or you can choose different options. So if you've actually enabled or disabled a customer under order entry active, you can just choose the no's to see which ones those are and make changes to that. If they've been added through communication, if you do EDI communication and you have a customer that didn't exist in your system, the EDI program or import will create the customer for you on the fly. Customer types, divisions, groups, and territories, you can actually filter based on those. So let's do a quick report. Customers. Gives you all the detail information that you'd see in the customer screen. on the computer. Okay. All right, the next two reports I'm going to go over real quick is going to be vendors and vendor customer cross-reference. So vendors, the same thing. We could choose a vendor or just look at all of them. And the nice thing about these reports too is it gives you all the options that we've set up in the vendor options screen. So if you need to make changes or you need to see or set up a new vendor and you want it to be similar to a vendor that you already have existing in the system, running a report is a good way to have that information right in front of you. But again, we have different options that we could select, or we could just choose all of them. So we'll do all. And now you have a list of all your vendors and every option that can be changed on them. That's vendor. And then the last simple report is going to be our vendor customer cross-reference. So a lot of people have these built in the system already, or they may not have them. But to look and see which ones are in there, you can look on the screen or you can generate a report. So to generate a report, we come in here. Again, I'm not going to choose any option here, but the options we have, will help filter this information. For instance, credit hold. If you have a credit hold for a specific customer vendor cross-reference, that you can just show those. So that might be a good way to filter this report, so you have to make changes to this. So let's generate a vendor customer cross-reference report. And this will show you all the cross-reference numbers that are built in the system. Okay, so that is the basic reports. The other two, inventory and orders, I'm going to go over in a little more detail. So we'll see you there. So I actually got a call today regarding a inventory receipt that the person needed a report on, and they also needed to do some adjustments on that receipt because some information was entered incorrectly. So actually this is the place where we'd find that report. So notice select report type is an option here, and this is important. So product inventory will give you a listing of all your products for a particular vendor or all vendors and their inventory. Inventory receipt will give you a report of all your receivers, and inventory adjustments will give you a report of the adjustments. Now these receivers can be chosen by, let's choose receipt. So we can choose the vendor. We can choose a specific product if we're looking for that. From and to dates, if you want to see it over a period of time, you can choose your dates. Transaction number is a good one to have. You could just specifically see that one particular transaction that you're looking for. You just type that number in there. Include suspended products. Now, again, suspended in our system is deleted per se. So if you want to see all products that have been suspended that possibly are in a receipt, that may be in a past receipt, you can actually choose that here, yes and no. And suspended bins, if you actually removed any bins and you wanted to see them, you can, or not see them, you can choose that option. So let's choose inventory receipt. We're just going to choose a vendor, and I'll choose a range of dates. So let's go this whole month and create report. So real simply, this is just going to give you all the receivers. We have 3 for different dates. Okay. All in July, and all the parts that were added. So we don't have a lot in this particular. So, but that's a way to get a report to a manufacturer that may require a physical output of what you received in. So let's go back and just do a quick inventory report so I can show you what's in there. Some of their options are a little different. If you have multiple warehouses, you can choose that. Groups, display quantities, if you want the quantities, show it on there. Product bins, if you have a specific bin that you're looking for. Suspended products again, and suspended bins, if you want to see them or not. So let's do create report. And this gives you a list based on your criteria. In this case, I chose Kodiak, and this will give me my entire product line with the on-hand information, the committed information, quantity available, and your bin location. So this is the one report that gives you the bin location. Bin location comes in handy when you're doing adjustments, which you'll see in a little bit. But you don't always get this information on all reports. So just remember that the product inventory report will give you bin location. Okay, and basic information here that is easily printed out and easily looked at on a hard copy or on another screen if you want an output report. And the last we're going to do is just an adjustment. Again, you have options here. You can do our from and to date. Now, these are adjustments that you've made in the system. So we're going to do all adjustments for this month, let's say. We're not going to include any of the suspended items. And you'll get a very basic report that shows the adjustments that were made on what date, the adjusted quantity that came through, and a reason. We do require a reason, so people have to put something in there. Why did they make this adjustment? So that'll be down there, and also we'll list their name too on there. And as you see, we do offer the bin location on this report as well. Okay, so that is the inventory section of the tow. The last section I'm going to go over is going to be orders. See you in that screen. And the last report on the reports tab we're going to be talking about today is orders. So I go here more often than usual. There's a lot of things this can do. So under report types, we have header reports, release reports, which are two basic reports that'll give you some information. Then we have our item report, or I like to call the order item detail report. You may recall that from another system. We can choose our vendor, customer, warehouse, all that information, specific dates. So let's show the two basic ones first. Order header report. And the one area I want to just draw your attention to is going to be the status. You want to see reports that are completed, or you want to see reports that are pending specific statuses, verification, release. You can choose that here. The one I like to use a lot is the pending inventory. That'll show you all back ordered reports, or items, I should say. And you can choose that. So let's actually look at the pending inventory for order header. And this I left vendor blank. So we'll get a report of all back orders for all our vendors. Again, we've added these filter buttons, so even though I didn't choose a specific vendor, I can actually filter out on here. So if I want to see all the Kodiaks that have back orders, here we go. And it'll give me the order number. The total amount on that particular order, some certain information. This particular report will not give you any detailed information. So this just shows you what orders, for instance, in this case, had a status of pending inventory. So let's go to the release report, which is very similar. Release report will give you a little more detail. Let's choose a vendor here. Let's do create a release report. So this will show you each individual release and what parts are on that release. So first one here, we have release 1. Here we have multiple releases. So if I moved over and I wanted to see the parts for those specific release, I can get that information. But again, it's a very simple report that just shows you. This will show you based on releases and on the criteria that I chose. The one that I use the most, the one that you may find most useful, is your order item report or order item detail report. So let's choose Kodiak. I can select a customer. I can select a date, but I want to see everything. Pending inventory, I want to see all these. So I'm just going to go back to select. I have multiple warehouses. We choose that. Create that report. And here we go. We have all our products. So if you would need to filter on a certain product, you're looking for all products that are generated into reports. I can choose. So I want to see all the 200 products. There's a lot of them in there. All right, this shows you every report, no matter what the status. If you remember, I did not choose a status, but now I can choose here. So I want to see that particular product, and I want to see back-ordered items for that product. We do have one order. Here's the product number. Here's your order number. It tells you the back-ordered quantity, the quantity shipped, and some other detailed information on that. But great report for back orders, and I did discuss that in my back order filling video that I did a while back, so you can check that out to get more information on filling back orders. But again, if you want information, detailed information on what's going on during the day or the week, and again, I could have put dates in here, I did not, so I chose all dates, but I can actually filter here on your order dates. So, and Excel does give you the ability to filter, date filter. So I can do a between certain dates, after certain dates, today, tomorrow, yesterday, next week, things like that. So that's an Excel feature, but it will give you the ability to filter these out. So close that one down. So that's really what I wanted to go over. I wanted to show, these specific reports. A lot of people don't really go to the reports. They don't realize they're there or what detail they can provide. So hope this helped and gave you a little information on, things that you may need in the future. So we will cover the additional reports tab. I'll click on that now. There's a bunch of reports in here. We've gone over a lot of them in other videos, but we will go over these in detail in another video. And as always, send in your questions. Ask TTS today at tradetechsolutions.com, and we'll answer your question. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.